Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me over?
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower, Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. I say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Pacho. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I know usually around this time I would say Baby Friday. Friday's upon us. Goddamn, it's almost the weekend. But obviously, I was at an event, and I'll talk about it more during the show. That's the reason why I wanted to make this show and talk about it today. Nonetheless, let's get all the pleasantries out of the way. This show's brought to you by our organization, the Veterans Administration. So Veteran Affairs. I mean, it's a great organization that helps us veterans basically with our claims, not only they take care of us medically, among other things. And if you haven't taken advantage of the PAC Act yet, I highly encourage you so, because at the end of the day, while the system may not be perfect, it has come a long way since I retired from the military, as well as there's a lot of good stuff going on in regards to getting you claims and benefits and everything else that you need. So if you need some help or assistance, by all means, please reach out to us at the show. I'll be, if I can help you, which I highly doubt because I've helped a lot of veterans in the past, I can point you the right direction to some other amazing organizations that can advocate and help you get with your case. So if it's something that it's a little bit out of my realm, I can definitely get you connected with some other amazing folks. Okay, so please reach out. Okay, and hey, look, this show wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the great American Constitution. America may not be perfect, but it's the most amazing country to be in, and the Constitution affords us and gives us a lot of rights that, I mean, me having to travel around the world to every climbing place, as the Marine hymns would say, there's no place like, and you wouldn't have the freedoms that you have here anywhere else. I guarantee. So if you like the show, if you like what you hear, like, subscribe, and follow, and stick around, and let's talk. Or if not, okay, that's great. I would highly encourage you to support a local podcaster. Perhaps check out someone from Sitchradio.com. Brian Colburn is an amazing individual. And if you think that you have an idea and one day you want to have your own show, by all means, reach out to them, and then they could get you all well and taken care of, so that way you perhaps have your own show. Anyway, so check them out, Sitchradio.com, Brian Colburn. All right. I think those are the pleasantries out of the way. Oh yeah, and if you like what you hear, sorry about that. Like, subscribe, and follow, and tell everybody else also all about it. And if you want to be a guest, I encourage you to please be a part of it, and DM me. And if you have a story, you have a business, and you're making a difference out there in the community, and you're helping veterans, please let me know, and I'll be more than glad to have you as a guest, and promote whatever you have. Because as veterans, we got to help each other out. All right. So with that being said, let's talk about the show. So one of the reasons why I didn't air the show, obviously this Thursday, and by the way, heads up, next week I'll be out of pocket. I do have to travel. However, I have already pre-recorded a show. I have an amazing guest, so I highly encourage you to tune in. So one of the reasons why I wasn't able to do my live like I usually do, I had an amazing opportunity to reconnect with somebody that just made a tremendous impact in my life. And so part of me moving back home, when I was with my previous corporate job, I was looking forward to it because I was going to reconnect with. I knew and obviously I had a feeling that I was going to reconnect with long and lost relationships. One, obviously, with my little brother, who's been a guest on this show. It's been a great opportunity to reconnect with Jose in so many levels. Even though yes, we're siblings, and we do have a little bit of mileage in between him and I. It's been great to just reconnect with him. I mean, when I left the Marine Corps, he was still very very young, and yes, I was back on leave here and there, but nothing's different than like reconnecting. And now that you live here, and we get to do things together as adults and as brothers as well. So, and then I got a chance to reconnect with old friends from high school, which has been pretty cool. It's amazing to see how everybody's come, I guess you could say, full circle in their lives. And hell, I mean, it was to the point where because of the fact that I did 20 plus years in the military, on all those mile marker events that regular people have the opportunity to attend, like you go to college, you graduate, you high school reunions, all those things. Unfortunately, my first high school reunion, I was, no kidding, deployed to Iraq. I mean, I was in the middle of this. I was in the middle of it. Uh, driving vehicles around, doing logistic trains and all kinds of stuff. Uh, in the name of God, country, core, and the name of freedom. Uh, which it is what it is. I mean, that's the fine print of the job of of joining the military. Hey, at some point you might get deployed. So I'm not griping about it. I'm just saying that. So, and then when the 20th year reunion came about, I don't know where I was at, but I know I wasn't able to make it either way. So, uh, we just had last year we had like this. It wasn't everybody, but it was somewhat of high school reunion. We had a displays, and it was really cool to see not only catch up with all the old friends and acquaintances, but how funny that people who were in their own little circles uh, back in the day, just kind of as adults, you tend to gravitate towards those, still with those circles. I mean, yeah, we tend, we to some degree, we let go whatever beefs or issues we've had, if you were popular or not, or whatever, but just slowly as human beings, we just kind of fall back on what we know and what's comfortable. Anyways, so I had those opportunities to catch up with these folks and reconnect. So it's been really cool. And so shout out to the South Miami Senior High School alumni. They've done some amazing things, not only for the school, but Gus Marshall, Ralph Urbino, just to name a few. I want to give a huge shout out to them because they've been able to put some really amazing events and help the high school. There's even uh, a scholarship program that has been in place to help out students with music, with in the music department and the band, and just really really amazing cool stuff. So one of the things that these guys, and oh, shout out to Willie. I can't exclude Willie either. So shout out to Willie for and Katie for putting on just all these events together. So anyways, uh, we had an opportunity to bring this teacher who was an amazing teacher. And Ms. Mark Hanson, Mark H. Hanson, amazing guy. I mean, this man not only has a, I mean, so I did all the, I mean, a full disclosure, I was not a jock in high school. Um, Even though I did do sport. My sports were gymnastics, martial arts, but I was also, I love I like dance. My mom was a dancer, so clearly I saw that growing up. My mom was a choreographer and things like that in Colombia and here. So it just kind of, you just do those things. So, and she was very into the arts and things like that. So those are the things I kind of gravitated towards in high school. Some of you are going like nerd. Um, Nonetheless, yeah. So in high school, I mean, my high school was pretty cool. It had an amazing magnet program, not only for choir but also the band. It had a dance program, which obviously I joined. It had a pas de deux, which is a couples, ballet and all kinds of stuff, modern dance. lyrical, all those things. Anyways, but Mr. Hanson, I was in his choir. I did letter in that as well as well. But Mark H. Hanson, I mean, the man was amazing. He was back, and he still is. And the man, can him and his family sing? But I'll get to that here in just a second. So in high school, I mean, this man not only for those of you who are my age and you guys grew up watching, Rick Schroeder or Ricky Schroeder back in the day, as well as Alfonso Ribeiro, who's well known, uh, game show host, actor. He played Carlton on The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the with Will Smith. He was the guy's a dancer, Michael Jackson impersonate, all kinds of stuff. So Mr. Hanson wrote the theme song for that TV show, and I believe he also performed the song as well, which is amazing. And among other things, he also was the vocal coach for some back in the day. There was this music genre which is coming back. It's called freestyle, and singers like Stevie B, TKA. That's another group. Google them. I highly recommend it. As a matter of fact, Teddy Swims. He's a singer of now. He sings many songs. I mean, a couple of his songs have been made into freestyle, which is freaking amazing. Anyway, so Mr. Hanson coached some of the girls from Expose. Um, and man, the other name escapes me, but I mean, this man can sing. So I love the fact that we were, that I got to be part of his, of this music program, and under him and being coached by him. I believe I started out. I started as a tenor, but I ended up being a baritone. I just couldn't, I could somewhat hit some of the high notes and some of the low notes, but I couldn't go super high like some of the guys in the like Gio Puglisi. I mean, that guy sang amazing. There was another guy, Richard Dominguez, another great singer as well. Um, and there was another guy named Eric. I mean, this dude, all these guys that were amazing singers, right? So I was kind of like in between. I mean, I can still hold my own. I mean, I can carry a tune. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not pitch perfect, but Mr. Hanson, that dude is pitch perfect. Anyways, so I got to be part of that, and an amazing teacher. I mean, I don't think I ever saw the guy upset or chewing our butts, or I mean, that was his leadership. He was a kind leader. He was firm but fair when needed, in the being firm when needed, always fair, always an amazing dude. And I mean, it just made a huge impression in my life, so much so that when, as I said on the show description, one of the, I've always wanted to be a teacher. I haven't closed the door on that, by the way, because I have a lot of friends who are teachers. Nonetheless, uh, Mr. Hanson made a huge impression in my life. I mean, so, but just like all great things, and all good shows, they must all come to an end. Um, Fortunately for him and unfortunately for us, Mr. Hanson got an amazing opportunity to basically have his own choir. He, very got, him and his family are, are devoted to God, and he had an opportunity where he was going to be basically at an amazing church. He was going to be basically the leader of the choir, not only the choir but their music, they're everything. So I mean, I would have taken that position as well. I mean, if it was better for me career wise and for my family, why not? Anyways, but I do remember, man, and I was telling him this, and man, I was getting when I was telling him this, it was just because there was so much emotion behind it. um, when he was leaving, he said, "Hey, my gift, I don't have anything else. I've given you everything that I've got, and my only gift, something along those lines, and my only gift to you is my music." And he an amazing piano player, by the way, too. Anyway, so his gift to us, he sang the song "With You" from the musical Pippin, which is fantastic musical from the 70s. Again, I'm an art, I grew up kind of artsy. whatever. So I like musicals and all that stuff. Anyways, you got to listen to that song. If you find an old YouTube video of it, the song is kind of comical. However, the way Mr. Hanson sang it, it was amazing. I mean, there was not a dry eye in the room. And after he was done, I mean, we all just kind of crowded around him and we all hugged him, and he had to go, and he left. I mean, it was super sad. I mean, shit, I'm getting teary-eyed right now as I tell the story. Um, but very kind, very generous man. The next teacher as well, he wasn't Mr. Hanson. However, he was also an amazing choir teacher who we ended up, because Mr. Hanson left after my freshman year. However, I spent the rest of my other years, with the next teacher. So an amazing guy too as well. So shout out to him. Anyways, it just got me thinking that. So I had this opportunity that the alumni brought Mr. Hansen was going to be in town, and he had been in town, I guess, before. I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, "Hey, I am not going to miss this." And it's a karaoke event. Go figure. So we had, it was at this place here in Miami, which really cool bar. So shout out to Thank You Miami place. That's the name of the place. Excuse me. Shout out to them for allowing us to do our own thing while we were there. It was really really cool. So uh, yeah. So it was Hanson. Okay, we went to karaoke and we had an amazing time. And he was kind of laying back, and I know I did my usual Bon Jovi. My first song was Stone Temple Pilots, Interstate Love Song. I love that. STP is an amazing band. So I did mine. His daughter went up there and sang, and holy cow! There's a reason why. I mean, she's recording her. She's got a record getting ready to be released. I mean, there's a reason. His son Tyler too. I mean, this kid went up there and just, I mean, shoot. And then him and his sister did a song, and and I'm like, well, I'm not going after them. But obviously, along the night, Mr. Hanson got up there and, I mean, did his thing. Holy cow, an amazing voice, amazing. And then him and his wife, obviously, they did a song together, and it was just like, not a try. I mean, they killed it. I mean, not there was not a dry eye in the room. I mean, it was just, I mean, such compelling voices, and just and obviously, they both. This is what they do, and I mean, it was just beautiful to see a couple who had perfect pitch, and just the way how they sang that song. It was amazing. So and I'm, it was, I hated I not that I didn't hate, just at some point we all have to go home. Obviously, I had some things to do here at the house, but I just hugged them and I said, "Hey, thanks for everything." I told them from the bottom of my heart, and I even, I had tears in my eyes. I just say, "Hey, thanks for." And the dude is only 10 years, about 10 years older than I am. I mean, he wasn't that much older when we were in school, but I'd say, hey, thanks for always, making such an amazing impact in my life. And I have, that and more to thank you for it. So, so it just got me thinking about not only about him and just how I've been lucky in my life to have some great uh, people who have mentored me, uh, taught me along the way. Mr. Hanson, Miss Harvey, and another amazing teacher when I was in high school, science teacher who was very kind, very nice, you know, and just other people, that I've been lucky to call to this day still call friends, like Scott Gilman, who has been on the show. Matt, shout out to Matt Max on the show, who, again, him and I are not. I mean, I think we're both about a year apart. When I came back into Marine Corps, he was already a staff NCO, and then he became a warrant officer, and then he was one of the reasons why I became another reason why I went that route under his leadership and guidance, and also pressure. Hey, you're gonna put it in a package, among other things. That's another story for another show. But guys like him, Captain Radaman, Gunner Del Rosario, uh, who else can I go through my Rolodex? Colonel Kaczynski, um, things, guys who've been on the show, Daniel Stevenson. I mean, I've been lucky in my life to be surrounded and even still friends with some of these amazing people who, it's funny how the people like that make a difference in you, and just make you want to be better. Even the folks that made a bad impression on you, there's always a lesson to be had, and I even thank them. I mean, I got to work for this, oh man, this individual, who I just call him Gunner Sergeant D, and I'll just leave it as that. But this is when I was at a reserve unit, and I was, uh, some of my fellow Fourth LAR members know who I'm talking about. I mean, this guy was the epitome of just, racist, just a complete, uh, uneducated, just an idiot, and just a bad leader as a whole. I mean, but however, I do thank him for again coming into my life and showing me, hey, that is not the type of person or leader that I want to be. And, among other folks in that staff that, I think back, I was like, man, whatever. So even a bad leader has a good leader, has some good things to show you. Case in point, of my previous corporate job, unfortunately, this very young individual in a leadership position that shouldn't have been there. It just kind of really like, man, it's too bad that, and what a waste, right? And among other things, but I've been lucky enough to have met some and some amazing friends of mine, like Brenda, Vanessa, Monica, my cousin Diego, people who are, and Brenda's sister Monica, just to name a few, who are, teachers out there fighting the good fight despite, I think here in America, I just, we're doing a huge injustice, to our teachers by underpaying them. Yes, I get it that, hey, some of you can argue, hey, that's the path that they chose, whatever. But along the way, this is the person who your kid has a first impact with, whether in grade school or whatever. Don't you think that we should treat them and pay them just a little better as well? And I also heard, some of, and this is not about politics or anything. Oh, well, some teachers say, they think it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, it's you as a parent, and not to switch topics from the show, but you as a parent need to be involved, because if not, it's not. Don't blame it on the teacher. Blame it on yourself, and as well, for not being an intrusive parent, especially in today's day and age. So, what teachers have or mentors made an impact in your life, good or bad, or indifferent. I mean, I asked the question because, I can go back and say, man, and even somebody who was much younger. I've worked with people um, when I was in the Marine Corps, uh, they were, yeah, they were younger than I was, and at one point, while I'm in recruiting duty, there was this guy when I walked into the office, they must want parts, and he was the officer in charge of our small little office. And man, this guy, when he came to, he knew his stuff about recruiting, how to talk to prospects. I mean, and among many other things that, uh, that even when I was already a staff NCO when I showed up over there. I mean, this guy just barely pinned, and he barely pinned on staff sergeant, but the guy knew his stuff, and he ended up picking up gunning meritoriously, among other things. I think and once he retired, he actually ended up running as a congressman I think in Alabama or Georgia. So individuals like that, have made a positive impact in not only in my life, but in others. And I too have had the pleasure of, as an OSHA outreach instructor, and even as a podcast, doing this show, I've had many people say, "Hey, man, thanks for doing your show. Thanks for the things that you provide, and it's because of you that I've been able to do other things, or I put in my VA claim, or I've done this, or when I was in the Marine Corps as an officer, hey sir, it was, I remember when you were when you were like this, but looking back, it just made me that much better. So you know, I guess the credit not only goes to obviously to my parents for giving me a solid foundation, and my grandparents as well. But also I also want to give credit to those leaders and those mentors that who I was able to kind of take some of those lessons from them and put them in my in my cargo pants, in my toolbox, and be able to provide those same lessons with a little bit of hint and sprinkles of me to help those people, to help and talk to other folks out. So it's cool to see and come back full circle. So case in point, being able to hang out with Mr. H, as we all call them, and just share those moments and relive those amazing memories as well, was just really cool and really neat to have. And so I just want to say thank you to all the teachers, all the mentors, all the Brendas, all the Nessas, all the Diegos, all the Kellys, all the Monicas, all the Mad Maxes, all the Del Rosarios, and everybody else that if you're out there making a difference on your in people, and changing their lives, and they're coming back to you and saying, hey sir, ma'am, XYZ, I remember this, hey, don't don't change, keep going, in despite of all the thankless nights, and probably from many kids nowadays, because I know it's not easy. You're still out there doing your thing and doing the do. So, I mean, I have nothing but, the utmost respect, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And also, thank those teachers that, help my kids as well grow when they were young. So, uh, I think this is a great place to end our show and end it. So, with that being said, look, if you've been struggling and ruminating with a lot of things in your life, don't be afraid to reach out to our show. Let me help you. Let me be your voice. Let me at least talk you off that ledge. Because at the end of the day, look, nobody wants to talk at you at your eulogy and say something really nice about you when they could just be saying it straight to your face. You know, I know it sounds cliche, and it's like, well, what do you know? Well, what do I know is because I've been there. I mean, I almost committed suicide. I mean, I had a plan. So all I'm trying to say by that is that I know where you're coming, and I know a lot of my friends as well who have struggled with PTSD in the past. So reach out to me, reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member. Be vulnerable. It's okay, because as cliche as it sounds, that time from is gonna pass. So you know, nobody wants to remember you, because you took your life. Okay, so reach out to somebody. All right, everybody. So with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in. Next week is going to be an amazing show, so don't tune in for that one as well. So with that being said, thanks everybody. All right, get some. Bye bye.